7 o'clock. Evening, people. We're going to make a start.
Good evening.
Thank you for that.
If I can ask you all to mute. Thank you very much. Another good week. Loads happening. Meaning we've got another good Zoom. Right, let's get going. 2 onions in the photo. Those are my 2 largest I've got this year. I only need 2. Not really large, but they'll do me for what I want them for our show. Right, if you remember last week, the hound was digging this up here. Obviously that grid weren't there, and it kept digging all this bloody soil up. So I got some cement from Wilco, and they don't look very pleased. I'm going to stop that up for her. Bedding plants on the front. Winds have been knocking these to hell out wire. But dead-ending, they need a good dead-ending. So what I'm going to do is dead-end the lot, scissors. Because they've had a slight checking growth, I'm then going to give them a good feed, a good watering, just to pick them up a bit. Right, my triffid, my climbing spinach in the tunnel top of the garden, it is going bloody haywire. It's trying to get in every crook and cranny. Before I ate it enough. So that'll be a good backdrop for anybody next year. If you've got a wall, bit of netting up it, anything like that. Don't forget this is only one plant. All the spinach I can eat. Right, these are my exhibition shallots and my pickling shallots. Picklers has got to go through a 30mm ring. This is for our garden club anyway. Different rules, different societies, different clubs, whatever. There's them 2 large onions I got up. Them are drying off. Don't forget this lot is out the sun, but it's got loads of air movement because I added me fan last week from what used to be down the plot. Solar powered, which the solar power is on the top up here. So when the sun is out, they've got air movement around them most of the day. Right, large egg boxes, perfect for holding these upright, i.e. the large and the pickling shallots as well. What I've got to do is start clearing them off, cleaning them I should say. Right, if we get a funny colour around the outside, or he has got a slight split. Good thing about with shallots, you can take a skin off and it's still perfect colour underneath it, unlike an onion. You've also got to clean the bottom off. If I'm judging the show, I'll pick every shallot up and onion, make sure that they've cleaned the base up. There's quite a few people that just think a judge is going to look at the top. No, he ain't. There's a proper judge that'll look underneath as well. So the knife slowly comes from underneath the skin down to there. But I've always got a good thumbnail, and I get my thumbnail under there, which we'll see in a bit. So sorting them out, there's 4 nice big ones. I need 2 out of them for 1 class which we've got in our schedule. And you can see the duffins up here because of the markings on them. That's a bit of allium leaf minor, which we get every year. There's 1 that's green on the bottom, so well, if they ain't no good, they'll just be eaten. There's some decent ones. I've got most shows as for class of 12 exhibition and pickling shallots, but to give our lot a better chance, we've knocked it down to 9. But I've still got 12 out, so I'll pick 9 out of them when I need them. And looking at them side on, which is what I'll do if I'm judging them, I shall also look bird's eye view on them, looking from the top. I want to see them all nice and round, same shape, size. So these have got all clear skins, near enough the same colour. Don't forget we've got another month yet before the show, so these are going to dry off even better. Once I've cleaned the bottoms off, then we'll come on to tying the tops with raffia later on. Pickling shallots, they've got to pass through a 30mm ring on the hole with the whole weight. You can't push them through, they've got to drop through themselves. So he's too big, so he'll be eaten. There's another 2 big one. and that one drops through nicely. So I need as many of them as I can. Nigel, yes mate?
Mick, if you got a shallot, which is a good one, but slightly too big, do you ever take a layer of skin off to reduce it?
If I'm short, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But it wouldn't reduce it by that much, just one skin. Unlike an onion, the skin on an onion is thicker.
All right, so.
Plus it knackers your markings up as well. So it's all called what's in the class. I mean, if I got enough pickling onions, I could exhibit 9 of them as well. But I need them for the Collins collection, i.e. the onions. So shaping them up, because you get some flattens, rounds, globe, whatever. Like he's a bit distorted on the top. Being a fussy bugger, I'll throw him out as well. But that's how I'm sorting them out. Red sets that survived from going for seed down the plot. Obviously these was outside in me growing scaffolding netting structure. These are ones that red onion set from Wilco. These lot are going back up again now. We have a class for 3 red onions as well. So the more we can get to put in, more for me the better. And you notice there, a couple of nice gladdies, prims. We'll come on to that later on as well. So all I'm doing here is open them out. I'm skinning them down to one complete skin. I've mentioned before, we've still got a month for it to dry out. And I'm leaving the tops and the roots on. Right, them have all been skinned except them 2 there. Those 2 are the largest because we have got a class heaviest onion grown from a set. So I'm going to bung 2 in for that one as well, or keep for that one, hopefully. Right, cleaning my tough ball onions down. The good thing about 8-ounce onions now, or 8.8 I should say, 250 gram, the skin colour turns out beautiful. Dave Goodwin sent me some photos during the week of his drying out. Superb. We'll see them later on in the road. Exactly the same as a shallot with the roots on the bottom. Clean them off, i.e. get your thumb in. So my thumb is working from the outside going in. So if you slip, you've got a chance of splitting the skin coming out. So always work inwards, slowly. And that's what I want to see. So that is going to dry off by the time it's exhibited. And George will be able to see, yeah, he's made the effort more so than somebody leaving a load of crap on there or not cleaning the soil off. Bit of bullshit. I put it works on your hands, or the wife's hands I should say, not my hands. Stops your skin from cracking. Exactly the same with the onion. Because I've looked after these, I don't want them to split, say in 2 weeks time. If I have one skin split, I'm knackered. Because if I take that skin off then, he's going to be a lighter colour than the other 2. So I want these to stay the same. So I'm going to put a bit of a... You don't wallop it on like suntan oil or something. All you're doing is giving it a light coating. And hopefully it gives that bit of stretchiness. And it does work. Right, this is our schedule for the show. Obviously that is my schedule, so that's what I'm using. That's the one I got on the coffee table. So shallots, I've got 9 exhibition up. The hound. I've also got 9 shallots up. Onions 3 there, any variety. So for mine they'll be from sets. And there's 8-ounce onions there as well. Used to be 5, we brought that down to 3. So it gives everybody a better chance of exhibiting. So once I have got something ready, like them 2 there, I'll just cross them off. So when I do go to put at the show and enter my stuff, I've got 1 times 19. I mean, I'm entering 1 thing in that class. Somewhat like leeks, pot leeks. I might have 2 sets of pot legs, so there'll be 2 times class number 12. We'll cover that later on as well. Right, sorting me other shallots out. Exactly the same. Going back on that one there, because this one had split, I've got no chance. I mean, I could put that in, because the split is on underneath, but I know the judge who we're getting anyway, Bob Carr from Brum. He's a stickler, meaning he's worse than me, so he's going to pick everything up. So I will be down pointed if I put him in. And I have got spares, so just in case, I'm going to take this off, the skin off, complete skin. So that one compared to the others, them are split as well. I'm going to job them. But compared to the other two, he's a bit lighter, obviously. But I've mentioned before, we've still got 3-4 weeks for the show, so he's got time yet to dry off, especially with air movement around him, i.e. my fan. Right, these lot there ain't no good, i.e. for exhibiting. Them are going to go stored in the netting, because I know them dry off completely. Right, composting. Another Monday morning composting. I've got me shredded paper, my ripped up egg boxes, loo rolls. There's bracken and other droppings, and I'm chopping my green waste, kitchen waste up. Carpet under my other bits and pieces. That comes off and shows all my other bags, which mean extra ingredients underneath, which are spent mushroom compost, spent ops, brewery, topsoil, best topsoil, molehills, spent peat, this from my grow bags which I've used the year before, bracken, if you can get hold of it, worm casts, reaming rock dust, or basalt rock dust, manures, horse, cow, goat, sheep, alpaca, llama, pet manure. This should be your worm input. If required or needed, fishing tackle shop, you get extra worms. There's also a bag of leaf mould, wood shavings, sawdust, wood burner ash. Don't forget wood shavings and sawdust, make sure the wood hasn't been treated. Wood chip, any big lumps, throw them out. Straw, seaweed, if you don't get it. Sand, nettles, comfrey, grass cuttings, obviously they're seasonal. But all these are my bags which are all-sided. So a double handful goes in my bag, which I've just chopped, along with a paper. There's my young mate. If you remember last week, my young Robin, he got no red on his breast at all. So within a week he's getting his colours. There's the little chap. Good little lad. So that bag is took back to the back garden. This is the compost bin I'm using now to fill that up. 2 layers of carpet on the top, lid off, and the carpet's off. You can see activity on the top because he's kept moist. That lot is added into my bin and levelled. It is then watered. You can't overwater because you've got the drainage. Carpet goes on top, and then I water that one, and then put the other one on top of that. Lid back on. Shropshire Master Composters. I noticed this a couple of weeks ago, and we come under Dudley Council, and they did something similar, but they paid somebody from the Soil Association to give our lot, if they was interested, talk on composting. So I'm going to get in touch with our lot again, and I'm going to give them a free composting demo if they want it. If they don't, then whatever. Right, a while back, or about a month or something, I mentioned that I got in touch with our local MP, James Morris, and told him about my composting methods, i.e. the government are looking for an alternative to peat. Dear Mr. Bolton, further to our earlier correspondence, please find attached a copy and response I received from Rebecca Pow MP, Parliamentary Under Secretary of State for Department of Environment, Food and Rural Craft. The response explains the steps being taken against the use and sale of peat and horticultural peat products in this country. and advises what action is being taken to identify peat alternatives that can be used moving forward. I understand from a response that the Minister has passed up your ideas to the policy officials for them to take into consideration, which is good for me. First time in about 9 years, finally took notice. Thank you again for taking part. Right, and then there was a reply. Obviously, she's replying, Rebecca Powell, to James. Thank you for our email 25th about me. We are happy to share with you our latest actions around horticultural peat policy, which I already knew anyway. I didn't really want to know this. But the government has been clear on the need to end the use of peat in horticultural products in England and want this transition to be as seamless as possible for the industry. While there has been some progress, the voluntary approach of phasing out the use of peat in horticulture has not succeeded. In England Peat Action Plan, we have committed to publishing a full consultation in 2021 on banning the sale of peat and peat-containing products in the amateur sector by the end of this Parliament. Just going back on that one, Ireland have now stopped digging up peat, which I've mentioned before, about a couple of, might have been a month ago, 2 months ago, something, and now they are importing peat. Couldn't make it up. Anyway, we are encouraging the industry on making the transition to peat alternatives as soon as possible. We will continue to work with the industry to develop a responsible source scheme for growing media, which allows manufacturers and retailers to make informed choices of growing media inputs to materials products, i.e. they can add their own crap, which we've had up put on here recently. Some of the compost they are now and the stuff they're adding to try it. Obviously it's less peat, but the stuff they're adding is crap. Anyway, we are also currently co-funding with the horticulture industry monitoring of the composting and growing media, including peat, supply for amateur and professional use in the horticultural market. Monitoring statistics show the investment. Anyway, that's still ongoing. DEFRA will continue to work with the industry to identify blockages of work across the government and private sector to develop. Let's get rid of that crap. Notwithstanding these effects, it is always exciting to hear innovation, progress, organisations and indeed individuals. To that end, I have passed the details of your constituents ideas to the relevant policy officials for them to consider. Meaning, with a bit of luck, I'm getting there. And it just so happened this morning, doing me little shopping, which I do every Sunday morning, 10 minutes before they open, and I'm already been bloody out 10 minutes, which is, I'm getting there. I'm going to be there bloody 9 o'clock one of these weeks. But going past the trolleys, the plants them up this end, I always go and see what they got on view. And I walk past the compost, and there's a bag split. So I thought, yes, let's go and have a perv, because it is peat free. So let's have a closer look. And it looked like, I suppose I should have got a bag really for the price of it, and proper digested it when I got home. But it looked like that there was soil in there, there's bits of timber, i.e. shavings, there's straw, but I don't know. You probably could grow something in it if you've got an established plant, but obviously there's no feed in there whatsoever. But that's better than some of the stuff I've seen. I thought I'd have a perv while I was there. Right, me Gladys, the way we're going, I ain't going to have no Gladys for our show, they're all going to be too early. But the ones I got now, the first bed of Gladys I put in, they were put in for next week when the Vale Glamorgan show was supposed to be on, because I showed there 2 years ago with Gladys with other stuff. We'll come on to that again in a minute. Right, outside grape as well as the inside, then they're getting fed once every 2 weeks. Look after them. Right, this is just not going down the plot for 3 days. This is the effects now. These was clean as a whistle when it went down. These was the large Swedes inside the tunnel. Lift the leaves up because that's where they'll be hiding out of the sunlight. Hordes on them. So that's them out there in as well. Right, if I remember my grapes, they got black little chaps on the bottom, as we are there. I mentioned it last week to Jerry. If I job them off at the bottom, it's exactly the same as blight on your taters. If it's gone into the plant, it might job the lot, but it's worth the go, so I'm going to cut the lot off, i.e. the bad bits. So that's what I did. So with a bit of luck, these will be nice and clear, or clean. I know it's not a full bunch when they are, but all I've got to do is put 3 or 4 bunches together, and people won't know any difference. I've given them a good feed as well, just to pick them up or help them out. Right, my worm. Let's get this out of the road before I lose it. Paul, am you on tonight? You got your lucky flip-flops on, boy? Mark, I was close then, boy. Colin Amazon, well done, mate. One more. I could send these by Amazon, couldn't I? Make his day. And you're right, well done, mate. What's that shit there? Right, let's move forward. Jeffrey. He sent me some photos. These, if you remember earlier on, he sent me a load of seed, and quite a few people had them. Look like his bedding dahlias. I've seen quite a bit of different bits of seed out, and these are all the plants he had. Can I open that up a bit? Yes. To put them all on, it did take too long. But everybody who's had the seed should really have had the same. I think let's open them up again. So he's had some decent little chaps. Nice bit of colour. But he has just mentioned lately he's been busy, he ain't been able to do the zooms lately. Because the rains they've had and everything else. He's had a bit sorting his plot out. Right, this is Sue and Dave. I had to go around their place, I think it was last week, to give him a schedule for our show. And while I was there, obviously, John Evan knows the back garden, yes please. And I saw this little chap. Are you on, Sue or Dave? Do you want to talk through? Tell them what it is better than me.
They're cannas, which are tubers that you overwinter, and then I've planted up like that, and they come with this lovely flower. So
Corker, any?
But they're not. They are frost. I mean, if it's a really cold winter, you've got to put them in the greenhouse. But I have left a few in the garden, and they're doing all right. They're slow, but they are there. But if it's a hard winter, you'd lose them. So
yeah.
But,
how often do those flowers, Sue?
every year they come like this. Yeah. And then I just cut them off, and you've got big tubers which I split this year, which is why I've got so many. So I don't know what to do with them next spring.
We can pass them on if anybody's
I might have some on offer for other people next spring if I overwinter them. And
well, I'll bring a boy in June next year, don't forget.
All right. Okay. Yeah, so and this is me banana skin tip that I put in my peppers in the greenhouse, and you can see it's turned them red there.
You remember that was mentioned last week about turning tomatoes red.
Yeah, and it's helped, I think, in the greenhouse because I'm picking red tomatoes till they're king. And this was for Colin really, but I don't think he's on tonight. I followed what he said about taking cuttings, and these are 2 that I'm really pleased that they've grown nicely from cuttings. So
good.
They broke off, and I did what Colin said, and they've grown. So that's something I've learned.
Yeah, excellent. There's a few mentioned that from Colin.
Yeah.
Tried his muscles.
The other thing is these coleus. The gentleman that was on said you can't can't, don't do very well seeding up. This is a packet of seed that I grew coleus just so that it made it. I thought it looked nice, the colour scheme with the cannas really, which I'm quite happy with. And they are very easy to grow coleus from seed. I was quite surprised really, so I was quite pleased with them.
So,
You've
got green fingers in Sue?
I try. I potter along, yeah. So so it does. They're nice. I don't know if anybody else grows them, but
First time I've ever seen them.
oh well, my son bought them for my 65th birthday, I think it was, when because they're Monty Don's favourite flower, and they're not particularly what I would have chosen, but I'm growing them anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Right, lovely.
thank
you for that, Sue. Paul, next one. Paul, am you on or not?
No.
Don't look like it. You sent me these during the week. His chilies. He did ask me to guess how many he'd got. But there's some evil-looking chaps there. That's his tunnel, bottom of the garden. And I think he got 40-odd plants in there, different varieties. Which he goes loop every year with his chilies. But he does like them. Mark, you ready for your bit?
Oh, I can do a bit.
Good man. There's a first one.
So I think that's the hydrangea at the top of the garden. Laura should have been doing this tonight, but I've had a COVID jab yesterday morning and it's knocked her about a bit, so her eye feeling too good. But yeah, I had this out the bin at work, so anything that looks like nice in the empty bins, I patch it out and plant it. And to be fair, it looks nice. You've got an azalea next to it, and that's a purple colour and all, so I dropped lucky there, really.
Perks of the job, Mark.
Perks, boss. Oh, these are begonias, so got them in some half-round baskets on the wall. My dad buys begonias every year, and he can't be bothered with overwintering them, so he goes to throw them away. So he gave me all the forms, and I stuck them in a shoebox, put them on the wardrobe, and thatched them out beginning of the year. And they look, well, that's what they've come into. They look lovely, don't they? I like them. I don't know what colour they was going to be though, so it was a bit of a mix and match. Never mind. Marigolds, these was Lidl or Aldi's own seed. I just picked them up beginning of the year because you don't know what was going to happen with the lockdown, did you? You know whether you could get bedding plants or not. So we did a couple of trays of this stuff, and I did an extra tray which Laura took to the nursery, so the kids have planted some at the nursery as well. But it's just nice to have a bit of colour in the garden, eh?
Yeah.
That's another hydrangea out of a bin at work, that is. But that one's come more blue. That's at the bottom of the garden. So, I mean, I always thought with hydrangeas that the colour of the flower was something to do with the alkaline or acidity of your soil.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is that true? I don't really know, because we've got two different colours in the same garden. So it sounds soft, don't it?
I think acid is blue and alkaline's pinkish.
Is that the way it works, mate? Okay. I want a white one. You can get white ones, can't you? So I'll have to have a look at one of them. That's a snapdragon. Now, this was a little seed, and I started off about 40 of them, and I only had 3 plants. But and they've all come different coloured flowers. So I just bunged them in the pot next to the back door, and now I like these. I wish we got more of these, actually, to be fair, but never mind. The day after. So.
Next year, Mark.
Next year. And this is a hollyhock. This thing is fantastic. It flowers from early right through, and it's prolific in flowering. But I've just gone and had a look at it, and that wind we've had last night has flattened it a bit, and I ain't got no string. It's all over the allotment, so I'm going to have to get a good few yards of string tomorrow and come back and tie it up. But it's beautiful, love it, and it's massive. It goes to about 6 or 7 foot tall, flower spikes, and it is, as I say, it's prolific. It's lovely. I do like it. That's a rose. Was that Penny Lane or was that the white one was Penny Lane, and that was. I built an arbour over the steps, and I bought a rose, and I planted it, and then I thought I killed the rose, so I bought another one, and then I can't remember which bloody rose is which now. but no, it's doing well anyway. It's finally doing well. So I've just been deadheading it, and as you say, the more you deadhead, the more flowers you get with it, really. So
Yeah.
but that's my next job. There's another one of them begonias Dad was going to throw away. I think they're lovely. I mean,
Nice.
they ain't hard, and they end of the year you just knock them out, dry them off a bit, stick them in a cardboard box, and bung them on top of the wardrobe. You know, them free flowers, ain't they?
Yeah.
So, nice colour that. I like that one.
It's nice and brightish.
So this is a canna that we bought. We bought two. We went to there's a tropical type exotic nursery in Telford. Is it Knowbridge Nursery? And they do all the bananas and olives and everything. And a couple of years ago, and bought two cannas. I think this one's called Carnival. So I bunged them in the ground last year outside, and then I put them in the greenhouse, and I just dumped. To be fair, mate, I just left them in the pot that I planted in the ground. I just left them in the greenhouse. But I wasn't sure with cannas whether you overwinter the corn in soil or compost, or whether you take them out and dry them out. So I took one out of the pot and dried it, and left one in the pot with the compost. And the one I took out of the compost died, but this one was overwintered in compost, and it's come bigger and better this year. So that's what I'll do this year. I should just put the pot in the greenhouse with a little bit of straw on it and leave it, and hopefully again we'll have a nice flower like this next year.
Oh, real.
Yeah, nice. And these pot marigolds, I think these are. Again, Lidl seed. What is about 35 pence a packet? It's nothing, is it? But these things, I planted some of these a couple of years ago in the borders, and if you don't deadhead them, then next year them like weeds. They come up. They're a nightmare for it. But they're so cheap, and they fill the border, especially to the bottom of the lawn under a hedge, and they grow and they put all these nice flowers on. So I do like these.
Yeah.
Cost you nothing, doesn't it? You know what I mean? But Sam.
Boston, cheers for that, Mark.
Thanks, matey.
Thank you, Laura. Next time we're going to job you. Right, for those who have seen me composting book from Amazon or wherever, you know that the book was dedicated to these two, Alf and Colin. Now, 2 years ago, myself and Alf were supposed to go down to Conman Castle, South Wales, for the Vale of Glamorgan show. Obviously, he passed away, so he couldn't go, but I went, and we'll come on to that in a bit. But this year, myself and Neil, who's on there, Neil Hams, I was going to take him this year, which should have been Wednesday next week. Obviously, COVID crap, that's cancelled, so that's out the window. But these were the photos of when I went down on behalf, because me and Alf were going to go down. He was growing blanch leeks, and I was doing a bit of heavy veg, which I've come third with a Swede. First time I'd ever done a Swede, so I was chuffed with that one. Second with a carrot, I was even more chuffed out with that one. But the blanch leeks, let's get in on there. There's Alf Thornhill. Them was the blanch leeks he was growing for the show. He was also growing carnations where I was growing Gladys. So he was going to take the blanch leeks and the carnations. I was going to take my veg and my Gladys. Because he'd passed away, obviously before the show, a couple of months before the show, I thought, sod it, for just to look after him and in remembrance. I could still look after his stuff as best I can, and I'm still going to exhibit him for him on his behalf. And I've got in touch with the committee of the show, ask him, can I put them in, still in his name. So his missus, if he did come anywhere, has still got a memory, like with him exhibiting his potlings. They didn't go to waste. Now, looking at the potlings, they're the best in there, except they got thrip damage on the top, which means you're going to be down 40 for them. Meaning, because he lives quite a distance away from me, I couldn't get there around as often as I wanted. So I could only go around once a week and look after his stuff. This is looking after his carnations and everything he got else growing, i.e. his branch leaves. Meaning I hadn't got time or to do enough thrip spraying as I could. So if he had been here, them would have been nice and clean and he would have won with them. But to get a card anyway, I'm chuffed with that. And his carnations, which he grew, were all around the bottom here. The only way you could exhibit them or show them in there was a vase of cut flowers. Like there was no class itself for carnations, so I just had to put different bits together. There's some of my stuff from the back garden, Australia. There's a delphinium flower. It was just to say that they hadn't been wasted. I put them in for him in the show. My Gladys that I put in, I was quite pleased with the ones I did get. I forget what that one was. Well, I forget all the bloody names. My memory's crap. And there's me velvets. Come fuss with him. What do you mean there was only me exhibiting in that class? Oh, don't matter. I think I bloody lost it, didn't I? Just going back on that one. So it was a good weekend, and I say we should have been going down next week as well, me and Neil, because I know he's a heavy veg, and I mentioned it earlier on. I said if you fancy going down, I'll take you down because he ain't got no transport. Of course, because of the COVID crap, that's cancelled. So a bit of luck. Might be on next year. Well, we don't know. What's bloody happening, do we? Right, let's carry on. Taking a dog named Shark to the beach is not a good idea. I saw that, I bloody curled up. You look like shit, Dave. I said that during the week, Thursday. Had a Garlic Club meeting and mate come in, he'd been ill. And he don't look very well. Right, me raised bed. Couple that started opening up. Now forget this is during the week. There's one down the plot. I'm taking up. Right, Nigel, while I've got hold of you, these new stems that come up, I've had some Gladys with one stem on, and I've had other Gladys with 2 extra shoots on. Is this the weather, or is it in the strain of the corm, or what is it, Nigel?
Basically, it's the fact that the plant itself is that happy, it thinks I can produce more flowers, therefore more seeds, and propagate myself even more. So it's because they're happy and growing well.
Yeah.
When you're showing them, you need to take that second one out.
Yeah.
Just leave about 1 inch of the stem at the bottom, just so the judge can see that it's been a side spike and not a flower that's been removed. But if you showed it as it is there, it would be classified as having 2 spikes in a vase rather than the one that was asked for. So you need to snap it off.
Lovely. I think there's another question in a minute. Like a dead flower on the bottom of there, or one that don't look much cop. Obviously I'm going to take him out, which I have done there. Now this thing here, which has just come out of, do I snap that off as well, clean, or leave that there?
You make it look as inconspicuous as you possibly can to try and fool the judge into thinking that you haven't taken a flower off it. So yeah, remove that green stuff.
Yeah.
Get a little craft knife or a Stanley knife and shave any little bits off that are sticking out close to the stem. And if you can, try and cover it up with a leaf.
Drill. Yeah, that's what I was pointing at there. That's been blurred. Excellent. Thank you, Nigel.
Worries.
Right, Bougainvillea. I thought these two I'd lost them, but as you can see, they've just started coming into colour. Now, that one there, I'm going to bonsai next year. Because we had a talk during the week, which we'll come on to in a bit. Alstroemeria, the only one low line. This is a bedding one. All the others are big buggers. So I'm looking after him as well, i.e. feeding. Also pulling out all the rubbish in that little one as well. Just looking from the top, you wouldn't see these. You've got to get right in there. Don't forget it's only a bedding one, so it is nice and compact. So I've got to open him up and get all this rubbish out. Obviously then you'll get more flowers. Just dead-ending. And this grew overnight. These were me, is it Lady Helen? Is it Lady Helen, Nigel?
Yeah, pale yellow, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I put these down, my corms, last year, obviously. And this opened up overnight. Couldn't believe it. I thought, cross, I knew saw the bloody flower the night before. So I chopped him off. Left everything else on, all the green.
Perfect.
And I don't want to waste him, so I put him in the vase with all the rest. And just going back on that one, as you can see there, I put that one upright in a jar, ready for the online show. Right, my blackberries, these were going to the top of the garden by my trellis, and they're going to be moved. They're going alongside the wall of the house, because I'm going to put some netting up at the back, so the blackberries grow up out the way, and then I'm going to still have a raised bed in there with the gladdies. But just taking these out, nice white roots, that will tell me the plant's doing well, so look after them even better. And this little chap, I had this from Middle a couple of years ago. I don't know what his name is. Anybody got an idea? But he should be nice and bushy. But the rains we've had, as Mark just mentioned, the wind and the rains last night, it's splattered all these again. And these come through as well. Are they snapdragons?
Penstemons.
Sorry?
Penstemons.
Oh, thank you, Nigel. I shall forget that in half hour. Right, page 3. My mate was in during the week. Graham from Gloucester. Graham Barrett, good lad. He got the UK record for the longest chili. He was coming up to our show with Nick Brake, but he's been job for babysitting for the family, so we've lost him there. But he's a good veg man as well. Nice to see him on page 3. Not many people can do that. Right, these gladdies are opening up nice, so we'll look after them. Oh, look at the hound. I've ripped her off because I've cemented a bloody corner off. They're still speaking to me. Right, Baggery's tea rooms. One of my first talks, or inside talks I should say. This was to the Black Country's wenches. I did ask for some photos, which she took of me doing me talk, but I ain't had them back, so we ain't got them. But basically, the talk I'm doing here, it's not a slide presentation. It was the practical talk what I used to do at BBC Gardeners World Live. So I just talk through composting, raised beds and OD, soil food, whatever I'm getting. And I just go through all this lot here, talking as I'm going. And this lot is what I flog after the event. Every talk I go to, I always ask them if they're doing a raffle, because I donate garden-related raffle prizes. And I even took my own bucket and the raffle book down for them, because I know I was busy, but they enjoyed them as well, and that lot went into their funds. But a good meeting was had by both, and they've asked us back already, which is always a good sign. Right, getting me glad he's ready. Right, Colligate Gardening Club. Our first meeting was last Thursday. First meeting in the year. Gordon Bennett. At least we've got going. There's quite a few clubs folded and umming and ahhing about carrying on. If somebody goes on the committee, i.e. too old or they can't do it anymore, it's hard to get somebody else to take the job on, which is the same as any club, I suppose. But our first speaker was Corin Tomlinson from Nottinghamshire. Corin, not many Corins about, first one I've ever met. But he's got a talk on bonsai, and that's his place, Greenwood Bonsai Studios. And he dished these out as well. But there he's up the corner. This is obviously before he kicked off. He's got all his stuff here, his demo table there. Troops still coming in. And because it was our first event, we had to sort out where to put him, i.e. there's that room there and there's this room here. So we had to put him somewhere, like place these tables so everybody either side could see him, and that side as well, and all down that side they could see him. Any further over and they need to throw it up. But we just got away with it, and I would have liked a few more people in there. I never had a count up at the end. But that's Tony, who looked a bit rough. I told him he looked like he's lost some bloody weight. Good veg man he was. Still is. I've asked him if he's got any onions to show. Keep going, Tone, mate. But this chap had got a sense of humour, you know, when you're a bloody gardener. But he's talked, I mean, the stuff he bought in is obviously quite a few years old. You can tell by the thickness of that. And most of the stuff is from China. Ray, I mentioned you. He says you're a good egg. I told him you'll give us a spiel on one of the seshes. He said, good man, good man. And that's where I sat at the end, taking a few photos there. But he got this one out. This was a Chinese something. I forget the name of it. I don't know, write it down. But obviously he buys, because he has students in and does demos, and they all do exactly what he does. So they all have one of these. He buys, I don't know, 200 at a time or something. So they're all the same size, same everything, which is good. So he obviously give to us the same as what he did to his students. And you start off, you take it out of the pot, cut all the bottom roots off so you got a stem. So there's your basis of the tree. And you just work this way through it. Obviously then you got to get it into a pot. And that's how it ended up. And but the humour he's got with it as well, the tails, superb night. And Steve, got your hand up, mate?
Been to one of his talks, one of his sessions. Very, very interesting.
He is.
Very interesting.
He's a good speaker, good all-round bloke.
Yeah, he knows his stuff, yeah.
Yeah, Boston bloke. But that was his end product. I mean, he'd wired it as well. Just get in there, so you can see the wire. Obviously got wire around it, so he can bend this down up or whatever, just to give it some shape. But that's what the students go away with when they're finished. But excellent. He was a good man. Because first of all, when we kick off at 8. And it was first meeting, so we have to have the AGM as well and go through all the show schedule and everything else, all the other waffle. So I said to him first, because we usually have a speaker, we have a break halfway through, then the grub, then the speaker comes on again. But I says, because we got all the crap at the end, or which we should have had at the beginning, the AGM, I said, if you do your talk straight through, we then had to stop for the grub and the raffle draw, and then we can do the AGM crap. Obviously he's got to get back home and give him a chance to get home as well, because the night itself was crap. It was horrendous, bloody rain, wind, and that kept a few away. But it was a good night. And these were new members. This hadn't come down to the shed. So the new members on the night that pay the £5. Obviously, member of the shed. We used to have membership cards. But there's that many people. Oh, I forgot it when they come down the shed. Jesus, what? So now we just do a sheet on the board, all the names on. We got the, as you can see there, 2018, 19, so it's 21 now. We lose a few every year, obviously the day off. We gain a few new ones, but once they have paid, we just tick them off there, and it's easier. So that's what I did there. The doors open only a bit because when the weather was still crap, so I'm just weighing out more tomato feed because that's what we're selling the most nowadays. Maxi crop tomato feed, swap those. And I found this out behind one of the cupboards. That's what we used to be, Craigley Royal British Legion Horticultural Society. That's when I first joined in '78. I found this old schedule out, and on the back of there, Begonias, Jim Robinson, I don't know if he's still alive, Joyce Daniels, I think that's spelled, and then York, name rings a bell, Keith Newman, name rings a bell as well. But the officials, Harry Sturman, Hill, Bloomer, Sam Taylor, Judy Sturman, they've all gone. Pete Orton, my mate, he's still here. But in fact, I've got to send them to him. It's nice to see some old ones. And that's what the rains have done, the Alstrom area. Even tied up the rains of the wind, only splattered them. Well, everybody's in the same boat. But pulling all the dead crap up, there's still loads of new growth coming through the bottom. So we're supposed to be having a bit of a summer again soon. I don't know when it is, or if they have had said when. Anybody heard anything?
Next week, mate.
Yeah, middle to end of August, I heard.
I think it's supposed to be dry this week after tomorrow, isn't it, I think?
That's right.
Oh, good. Right down the plot, we've had another dollop of wood chip delivered, which will please the troops for their pathways. Or like me, if you use it as a compost ingredient as well.
Wow.
Some new ones, that's a new one for me this year, or I can't remember him from last year. Although I think bloody Alzheimer's is setting in. But them three have come up for the online show. Chuffed with them. Luckily I've got 4 vases in the garage from last year when I showed me Gladys 2 years ago to our place. We'll come on to that one later on as well. These are me prims. I thought this one was a prim, but it ain't. Is it the 100 class, Nigel?
200, Mick, 2.5 inches across on the bottom.
Yeah.
You can see why you'd think it was a prim. It's got that type of hood on it, hasn't it? But,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny one. That I think it's halfway in between, really. Just having a look at that picture, it looks more like a prim than it did the other night when I looked at it for you. So,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure what the name of it is.
For next week, or whenever you fit us in, Nigel, is there any chance of just going through like them, like covering the sizes?
Yeah,
Or starting off on a prim like that one.
Yeah, basically the idea of a prim is it's got its florets in step ladder fashion, like your feet would be on a step ladder. So on this one, you've got at the bottom, starting at the bottom, left, right, left, right, left, right.
Yeah.
A thin whippy stem and a hood on the floret like you've got on the top petal.
Yeah.
Sort of it over. But it's not quite got it at the tops as well, has it? So that's what made me think it was a 200. So that's the prims. The small flowered ones are anything between, and this is the measurement on the bottom floret at its widest point. So on the 100 and 200, as we call them, is anything below 3.5 inches. The next size up is medium flowered, or as we call it, the 300 size. That's 3.5 to 4.5 inches. Next one, large flowered, or 400 size, which is 4.5 to 5. And then the giant flowered is 5.5 or above. doesn't matter if it's 10 inches across. If you've got one that big, it still fits in that diameter.
Ah, real. Now this one here, what I've started doing with labels. This corn was planted 7th of the 5th, and we got him up 6th of the 8th. 92 days. So that tells me next year. Obviously, it's still potluck again with the weather and everything else. Conditions.
Bear in mind, Mick, I think I said last week, off an older corn, the year-older corn, you'll probably get it about 7 to 10 days early next year.
Yeah.
The conditions are exactly the same as this year.
Yeah.
And you need to sort of stick it back a week, really.
Oh, so it's quite a bit. It ain't that easy, put it that way.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that well. But everybody's in the same boat. So that one, I'll chop him off, leave him a good bit of stem on. So that lot goes back into the corn.
Yeah, a few more leaves if you can, Mick, as well when you're cutting them.
On that one there.
Yeah, try and leave at least.
Oh, yeah. Just take the stem out.
Yeah.
Oh, got you. See, I'm still learning. So, them two I should take off next time. Something else I've learned. My triffid, it started coming out bloody everywhere, every orifice. Showed you that one. Of singular beauty, love it. Look at that, straight as a badger's tadger. This one, because really I should have got a different background, which I've been told off by the hierarchy, but that is learning curve for next time. It's no good with a white backdrop. There's me bonsai I've got going at the moment. I'm going to chop him off so I'll get a bit of a movement on him. Right, new growth. What we got on the top of them? Pom-poms are coming through. Dahlia pom-poms. These are coming through and all. They're still climbing up the line props. And me black-eyed Susie, as you can see there. He's opening up again. Tophams. Forgot the name of him and all. Right, weeds up the pathway if you've got pets. These have been jobbed, as you can see they've been killed off. But after a couple of weeks, obviously self-seeding, whatever, you're going to get more in. But if you haven't got pets like we have, you can't use weed killer, and I'll just use a kettle, boil the water up, and just pour boiling water over it, and it jobs everything. Obviously a deep-rooted thing, might take it twice. But that's all we can use now up the garden, and it works. Right, British Gladiola Society. First show last week, Friday to Friday. Been looking forward to these. You know, there's Lady Helen, that little yellow prim, which I put earlier on. So this one is class 1. It tells you what it is, 1 spike primula, and then it goes through everything. But once you click on the British Gladiola Society, click on announcements, and that when it tells you about the show itself. Nigel, if you need to come in any time, if I'm make a cock up or there's something wrong, whatever. Basically, we're starting off with these lot. Why? Because they're Zoomers. There's Steve from Brum, got an allotment on Brum. He's given us a spiel on his store. Suzanne has give us a spiel as well, so it has put some in. This is good to see. It is excellent. Get him involved. Mark even put his in. There's Steve put another one in. Keith Iron, Shalimar, love that one. My name started coming through yet, Shalimar. So Keith, well done mate, put his in as well. And there's my 3, what should I put there? Steve, put your hand up mate. Unmute yourself, Steve.
No, Mickey, it won't me. I don't know why it's on. It's saying raised hand here.
Steve?
Yeah. It said on the brief for the show that your flower, your stem should have been in a vase.
Yeah.
But one of them that was in the novice one was still in the ground and they still got a prize.
Correct.
How does that happen?
Nigel told me that
exactly the same,
the
actually.
couple of days before, because I asked him, I said, should there be a vase? He said yes.
But I think the one in the novice, the one that won, was actually still in the ground because I saw
Yeah.
Sue's there, and I thought
It
that was
was,
a really nice one, but he didn't get nothing.
I think what they've done is, because it's the first week and because it was the novice class, I think they've given everybody a bit of artistic license.
Yeah.
They didn't want to put anybody off by disqualifying anybody.
Yeah, no, I wondered the same, actually.
Yeah, I think that's the reason they've done it. Next week it'll be a bit more strictly administered, I understand.
Oh, that's good. Because I thought Sue's was really good.
Oh, thank you. It obviously wasn't that good. Well, I liked it anyway.
Yeah, it was.
The first one I've ever put in, I thought it was all right.
Yeah, myself, yeah.
I mean, you know, for a novice class, everything that was in there was good. But if you sort of look at those in the novice class compared to the ones that won the sort of open classes, shall we say, you know, against these guys that have been growing them for donkey's years and most made a lifestyle out of it, you can see where the differences are.
There's no comparison.
Shape and things like that, and it's basically all down to sort of tying them up, keeping them straight, and the varieties you grow. So you know, you're on the right tracks, guys. So well done.
Good. Thank you, Nigel.
Thanks.
But it's always good to see Zoomers entering stuff.
You never put mine up, Mick.
Hey?
You never put mine up.
We ain't come to that yet.
Oh.
Traitor.
So down here we got Mark Robinson.
Oh, I'll turn you on.
Steve Menikert.
Huh?
No.
Me with me 3 spikes. So we got some winners. Here you are, Nigel. Look at that one.
Nigel.
Blue background. That's what I got to remember.
Yeah, that's just the canopy off my swing seat.
Oh, good
Just
idea.
Forward, and the flower itself. If you remember last week, I showed you the seedling of mine that was just in bud.
Yeah.
That's the same flower as it's open now.
Oh, brilliant.
That's named after my good lady wife.
Nice.
And
Did you
there's
go up
mine.
against Mick then, Nige?
Pardon, Steve?
Did you go up against Mick?
I was in that class, yeah.
Did you beat him?
Of course.
Nice one, mate.
Here's me cock up.
One for the members.
Light background of singular beauty. Couldn't even see it.
Nice though.
He's a nice chap. I think that was the. This was outstanding, wasn't it? This one.
That one. As soon as that flower went up, I thought that's a cracker.
Yeah. As Nigel mentioned before, and there's nice level on the top. I mean, to get them bloody one level, bloody hard, let alone all of them.
Why,
So that one.
Just bear in mind the guy who grew that grows 2,000 of them sort of loans.
Oh, there he is. Beautiful. Love the prims. And there's mine. He ain't even got a bloody top or shoulders. Them are all who wear any road. Well done, Nigel.
Thank you.
Our own Zoomer. And these we got up this morning, and them be ready for next week's show, or this week's show, I should say. And that's it, people. Shorten this week. Steve, got your hand up, mate.
when you're showing them gladioli, you have to have so many flowers with them. You had them laid on floor just then, that last picture, and you had so many leaves with them.
Yeah.
You have to have 4 leaves with each one.
No, then you just cut them to take them on.
Leaves don't matter. They always show the flower off a bit better if you have got a bit of leaf on them. But as I said to Mick earlier on, it's a fine balancing act really between leaving enough leaves on the plant as it's growing to sort of feed the bulb underground for next year.
Right.
But you know, perhaps take 1 or 2 leaves with the stem just so that it shows it off a bit better in the vase. And as regards the open flowers, again, it's sort of the bigger the flower is, the more you need open. But there is an optimum. So for a giant flowered one, it's 7 flowers. For a larger flowered one, believe it or not, it has to be 8 flowers, because they tend to have a bit of a longer stem. Medium flowered is 7 flowers, small flowered is 6, and the Primulinus is 5.
Right. So I'm with you now. I think so. It's difficult.
Could you put all that into like a sheet?
Yeah, I think I've got one.
Send it to Mick so we can sort of see it.
I'll forward it through to Mick, and he can
That's lovely, thanks.
play around with it, sort of thing.
Real.
Nigel,
Yes.
is there any chance maybe for next week you could explain that in a bit more detail and have a photograph for each stage?
Yeah, could do. I'm sure we can sort something out.
Thank you.
That would be good.
Well done, Keith, putting your gladdy in.
And Suzanne.
Can you?
No, I've
Can
only just seen Keith. That's why I've said that.
All right.
I thanked Suzanne earlier
Where's
on.
Colin tonight?
Pub's open.
Oh and Paul, they're both at the same pub, are they?
Mate, can I... Sorry, so go on, carry on.
No, go on, it's all right, I finished.
Mate, can we get a different way without having to email you for people to come on? Because I've 3 people here that said they can't come on because they haven't got a membership or whatever. That link you send.
Steve, you need to get through that link. Otherwise, if you remember the first or second Zoom session, we had a gate crash and what wrecked it for everybody.
I've already asked you, Steve. I said, can you trust him?
Can I trust them? I don't know them.
No.
Well, that's it then.
They've come onto my site. And I advertise this site on my site. And people are saying, well, how do we go on? I said, well, you've got to email me.
No, you shouldn't have advertised it. I mentioned this earlier on when we first got the job. Because it was open. And that's what knackers it up. Because anybody can get in.
Rightio, I'm with you now.
Yeah.
I'll take it down, mate, but it is on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that's a day after. It's not live then. They can't interrupt it on YouTube.
No, point taken.
Yeah.
I'll take it down.
That's what I say. Do you know them? Can you trust them? If you can trust them.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking of members that come on. I mean, it's good advertisement, isn't it?
Mm.
No, I can't trust them because they join my
Yeah.
site. They just answer 3 silly questions and then they're in. If
Yeah.
I look at them and think, well, I don't know the guy, but it's all right. It looks all right.
Yeah. I've had it once, so I ain't having that again.
No, okay. Point taken.
Good.
God, you're not on the...
Mick, I just wondered when you show gladiolis, they're all in green vases. Have they got to be in a special vase?
No, anything to hold them up.
Oh, anything. Right, okay. All right.
That's just, we've got our own vases, a garden club, meaning people can borrow them.
So I can put my cut glass vase in then in the show if I wanted.
Oh, but don't forget you can't leave it in.
Oh, I've got to leave. Oh no. All right. Okay. I'll think again then.
You can bring it in that and then swap it. Once you get
Oh,
back
no.
later.
I'll think again then. Better look for some plastic somewhere, I think.
Even like a bottle, could it go in a bottle as well?
Yeah, but we got vases for
Oh.
members to use.
If you get to the harvest of the Knickerbocker Glories, you could take the glass over, yeah.
Oh.
Well, I was thinking of having that lead crystal vase of Mrs. Bradley.
I was only thinking I'd stun the judges, you see.
Be careful if you do put them in a crystal vase, because obviously it might be worth a bob or two, and the laddies are notorious for being a bit top heavy.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. We'll think again then. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Don't forget your lot. If you got any Gladys flowering, just bung them in the show.
Put in one of Dave's show. Put in his weller.
If you're stuck, you don't know what class to put them in. Nigel or somebody out on the British Gladiator Society, I've sorted out.
Mick,
I've sorted a few of us out, yes.
when's the best time to join the Gladioli Society as a member?
Anytime.
I
You can join any time.
Yeah.
If you join now, you get the rest of this year and all next year for nothing. So it's not for nothing, but for just, you know, you pay your subscription now, so it'd include the rest of this year. So you get this year's sort of society yearbook and bits and newsletters and stuff. And then when your membership was up for renewal in January, because the year runs January to January, you get next year for nothing because you've already paid just for part of this year.
Okay, thanks.
How much is membership?
I think, if I remember rightly, for a single member it's 11, for a senior citizen I think it's 8. For an affiliated society I think it's 12 or something like that. We've got a website called britglad.com and all the details are on there. There's Andy showing his yearbook to you. We're trying to.
Oh.
Yes, there are. Because our gardening club's affiliated to the British Gladiator Society, plus I'm a member myself.
Yeah, ours isn't on the Gladiator Society. It's on quite a lot of the others. But not that one. I don't know why.
Because we get the medals as well for the show. It's always
We
good to be there.
We don't get the medals anymore. We used to get all the medals, but we don't get them anymore. Just have certificates.
Yeah, as I was going to say, as an affiliated society, the Gladiator Society, you would get automatically on renewal every year a silver medal card, so like you say, a certificate, but there are also physical bronze and silver medals that you can actually buy.
You have to pay extra for them, didn't you?
Yeah.
Normally, yeah.
8 quid, 10 quid, something like that.
Yeah. I think our society stopped doing them. Well, I started 2012. I started with them, and they were doing it well before then, but they stopped, I think. So.
Mick, you know all stuff you stock in your steel container?
Yes.
Do you have a leaflet with each one, what they're used for?
No.
Do you have a leaflet of all what you stock?
Yes.
Can you send it me?
Price list, yes.
Well, I'm not bothered about price, I'm just interested in...
No, it's called a price list. You have to name everything and tell people what the price is.
Okay, that's not an issue.
Yeah, I'll email it to you.
Yeah, because I'm just wondering, when I come down, I want a few £100 worth of stuff, that's all.
Got no bloody compost.
No, I've got it all here.
I know. Dave and Sue, who was on earlier, you'll be pleased to know that I've got Nigel up again. He's giving us a talk on Gladioli, April next year.
Oh, great. Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Be good.
I jobbed him earlier on.
Good.
How long's it been, Nigel, since you was at our place?
Ooh, probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I know I was laid up with a sore throat and in the week before, and I was dreading going really because my throat was that bad. But I think you poured some kind of amber liquid down my neck and it seemed to cure it, you know.
So we got our Nigel to look forward to.
Nick, I've got a question for you. You know your compost bin? You took the carpet off and the black sheet for the summer.
Yeah.
And it's all white now. Why do you have it white? Is it just to stop
Repels
the
the sun and the heat.
But doesn't that sort of like send the sun away
I don't want them
from
to
it?
cook. I don't want the worms to
You don't
cook.
want them to cook.
No.
Oh, I thought they had to be nice and hot.
No, that's hot compost.
Because I've still got my
If you
my,
compost
carpet
using
on.
heat, you don't get no worms.
Ah, right, okay.
I want
so
worms.
I might have cooked worms in there then.
It's like when I was in the mob. Our uniform in the Navy is navy blue. Because of the sun. In the tropics, the uniform is white. Number 6 white uniform. Repels the heat and the light.
So
Exactly the same thing.
Yeah, so when do you put the carpet and that back on again?
As soon as it signs the first frost.
The first frost.
Yeah.
And how do you stick? Because I got a bit of carpet we was throwing out, so I cut it round to fit my compost bin, and I got the black sheet in, but I had trouble actually attaching it. So what do you stick it with? What do you attach it with?
Just black tape from Wilco. Just go all the way around, back on itself.
Yeah. What,
It'll stick back onto itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Not electrical tape. So it's on about.
No.
Gaffer
I've got
tape.
just like, yeah, that's what I've got, gaffer tape. That's what I did in the
Yeah,
end.
that's what.
It kept falling down. Like if you put it on, it just kept slipping. So it obviously wasn't tight enough.
Yeah. Just tape it back onto itself. It'll hold then.
So
We've just put one of those, do you know you can get those stretchy elastic things that have got a hook on one end and a hook on the other? And we put those round.
A bungee
I don't know what
strap.
it's called.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And that's worked
That's
really
the,
well.
What they used to use on roof racks and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we used
yeah.
to, yeah, and that's
Oh,
worked
that's a
really
good
well.
idea. Yeah, I've got some of them.
Yeah.
I've got some of them in the car.
That'll do it then.
Yeah.
Link them up and then you'll know how far to go round and tie them together. Yeah.
I think I've got about 4 of them, so that'd be a good idea actually.
If
So
you go
keep
in-
putting the
if you
tape
go in-
round and put the tape round.
If you go in pawn shops, so they do one called the spider bungee, and it's got about 11 different hooks on, and it just wraps around everything. That's what I've used. It's
Well,
pretty.
I've got 4 anyway. I've got 4 sitting in the boot doing nothing, so I'll use them. That's a good idea. Thank you, Sue.
I've
Good
got
name. Good name.
one. I've got one. I tie wife up with when she wake up for dinner.
Keith, while we got you on here, you've been doing a bit of judging, ain't you?
Yeah.
Where was this at?
Sorry.
Where was this at?
What? Judging?
Yep.
Oh, I did did a couple of local shows a month ago where they decided that one was actual, one was virtual, and about 10 days ago I judged the MVS Southern Branch virtual show. We got about 80 odd entries, which was quite good, from all over the country, some from Ireland and Scotland.
That's the one I'm with, the Southern one, I think.
Yeah, would be.
Well, we're in Essex, so yeah.
Oh yeah, you've come under the Southern Branch, yeah. You know
With,
Sherry and
Sherry Plum, yeah. And
yeah, you know
daughter,
Sherry,
yeah.
So that was good, and I've got one. When do we start? 21st, something like that, in a couple of weeks. The judgment, just so many are being cancelled now.
Yeah.
And then we go all the way through September. I've got a full September up to when we go to Malvern to exhibit. But yeah, I get around, quite a few on the south coast. Go down to Emsworth, which is near Hayling Island, and I'll go on to Hayling Island, do that one, and a few locals. So get out and about, yeah.
How far do you travel for judging?
Anywhere. I'll go anywhere.
Whereabouts are you?
I'm in Surrey. I'm near.
Oh, you're not that far then. Yeah.
No, about 10 miles from Heathrow.
Right, yeah.
Not
So you're
too
probably
bad.
about an hour and a half from me.
Yeah.
Probably, I reckon.
I'd go anywhere.
We're just off the M25.
Yeah.
At the sort of the end bit where it sort of starts going back round again, like number 1.
Yeah.
If you go number 1, then you've got the bridge, haven't you, or the tunnel?
Yeah.
We're just past that. If you come off the next one, and I'm just off there.
Keith, when's your next practical show?
Actual one is, I think, let's just have a quick look. Sorry, won't be a sec. Interestingly, with my Gladioli entry, I sent a picture to Nigel, and he quickly came back to me and said, "You really ought to cut those side shoots off, or you'll get a job for having too many stems." And unfortunately, I took the picture and I gave them to a next door neighbour, so I didn't feel the heart of getting them back. So he put the picture in anyhow, knowing that the judge would be a bit too beady-eyed, and so I've got to do better this week. Where are we? Yeah, 21st I've got one down in the south. Then I'm going on the 28th at Kew, on Kew Green, near Kew Gardens.
Lovely.
And then I go down to Emsworth on Bank Holiday Monday. So they're my next shows.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to those. Sorry?
What do you actually judge?
Well, mainly vegetables, but a few shows you get asked to do some flowers and pot plants and things like that.
Yeah, so you do them as well.
I mean, I had a phone call yesterday from somebody saying a judge dropped out, can you stand in? And it was just fortunate on the 4th that I could, and it was a question of judging everything except cooking. So it's going to be flowers, dahlias, pot plants, veg, fruit, lot.
Because we normally have like one judge for the veg and the flowers, one
normally,
for the cookery, then one for the handicraft, and then one for photography. That's my daughter.
Yeah, I mean, it's like mainly I just do veg, but occasionally I get there say, well, can you do some flowers as well? I'm going down, the one I go down to Emsworth, I'm just doing the collections, veg collections, but they've also said, can you judge the novice section, which is flowers and veg? And then the guy doing, John Trim, who's doing the single dishes of veg, he's got, I think, 42 classes or something to judge. It's a ridiculous amount, quite a big show. So yeah, they're normally just veg, but I will cover other bits and pieces if required.
Because we have 4 shows a year normally.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that I might take my dahlia exam this year at Wisley at the National. So see how that goes.
Oh, good man. So much else under your belt?
If you can taste cooking, Keith, I'll come and judge it.
Sorry?
If you can taste the cooking, I'll come and judge it.
Well, yeah, I never get given the wine.
No, I haven't. Well, Mick's plenty. He'll send you some.
You can have some when he comes up.
Yeah.
You're going to Malvern this year?
What do you do with all that wine that you've got? You've got tons of it.
Exhibit it. Use them as bribes or thank you.
And then drink it.
No, don't drink it.
Don't drink it.
I like me
Is it not that good then?
This is like vodka. I use them as bribes or thank yous.
Ah. So why don't you drink it? You're not teetotal, are you?
No, I'd rather drink
Definitely
cider. Right, troops, is getting close.
Have you seen that? So, haven't you seen that badge on his car? It says AA, and it means alcoholic anonymous. Anyway, there's no Zoom next week. Mick's off to Turkey and Greece to help put fires out.
Oh, they're awful, aren't they?
I'll be there for the sun.
Terrible.
He's off at his
Oh, you off on holiday then?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Are you off on holiday?
No,
I don't
Oh,
want
he's
to
not.
know. So.
he's talking manure.
Oh,
Right, people, hope you've enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank
See you next week.
Bye. Bye.
Cheers all.
Bye.
Bye.